Yo, what's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about some things that you should never do when you go to the skate park. Now, obviously, when I say this, you're probably thinking like snaking people or, I don't know, beating up someone at the skate park. Yes, those are two things that you should always avoid. However, there's some other things that skaters do that I think you should probably avoid, not only just to prevent confrontation, but also just so that you could potentially create friends at the park and then grow together. Especially if you're first starting out, you probably want other homies at the skate park to help you learn and not have to beef them. So let's just get right into it. The first thing that you should never do is, please, for the love of God, do not overwax the ledge or rail. Now, I get it. There are people, and me included, I'll go to the park and I'll, put on some wax on any ledge or rail or whatever obstacle. I'll give it a couple lathers. But then there are some skaters that will literally dump like a bucket of grease. That's what it feels like on a ledge or a rail. And so now when you go to do a 50-50, you could literally roll at like an inch every couple minutes and you're still gonna grind the entire obstacle and you're gonna slip out, potentially hurt yourself. So please, be very conservative with your waxing, and if it doesn't grind the way you want it, maybe try a different obstacle. Number 2, do not be that guy who's always asking people to play a game of skate. Now, I'm trying to sit here and not sound like a hater, because obviously it comes from good intentions, right? It's great. I'm not saying that you should never ask people to play a game of skate. It's a great way for you to progress. And that's why a lot of people do it, because, it's like that competitive nature and you're trying to learn from other people. It's fantastic. However, there are people that will specifically ask to play a game of skate with you just to prove how much better they are than you. And the only thing that's gonna happen to you if you're the beginner in this situation is you're gonna feel like complete garbage after you're skating. So I'm saying to you guys, please don't make other people feel like complete garbage if they're first starting out by asking them if they want to play a game of skate. When I was first starting out, there was this one kid that would always come to the park and ask to play a game of skate, and he would always do like one trick that I've been trying for the longest time. And I'd get a letter and I just feel like complete garbage. Number 3, if you see someone trying a trick that they've been trying for a while, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes or whatever, don't go and try the same trick, especially if this guy's like a beginner and he's trying a 50-50 and you're seeing he's struggling with it. Don't go over there and just 50-50 the whole ledge first try. For some people, it might be a motivating thing, but for other people, they're just gonna end up quitting. I'm trying not to sound like a hater. I'm trying to speak from a perspective of when I was first starting and I hated this stuff, because there was always kids whenever I was trying, like if I was first learning nose grinds or 5-0s or whatever, there's always a couple kids that would literally do it first try, and I would just be so mad, and I'd like leave the park and come back on another day where they weren't there. I hope I don't sound like too much of a Karen when I'm making this video either. I'm not trying to like limit you from having fun, but there's just some things that skaters do that are just so mind-blowing. Number 4 or 3, I can't remember at this point. Don't excessively freak out. Now, I'm not trying to like be a Karen or crack down on your behavior at the park. Obviously, you can do whatever. But there are some kids that just take it above and beyond. If you're at the skate park, out of all places, I get it if it's a street spot, you're filming for a part or something. It's a lot. There's, I guess, a lot more seriousness involved. But if you're just trying a trick on a ledge, you can't get it, and you just start yelling your lungs out and start throwing your board everywhere, there are other people at the park. You could potentially hurt them. If you throw your board a certain way, it hits them. That's like the worst case scenario. And just you yelling could just really piss people off. Especially like I've seen guys that just start like punching the obstacles or like slamming their board on the obstacles. And I've even seen a case where some guy was trying a trick on the hip and he got so mad he started smashing the board on the hip and it ended up breaking a piece, because like the hip that I skate, it's like made out of like this plastic. He ended up breaking a piece of it, and so now the obstacle's ruined because of this guy freaking out, So okay, number 4, this is something that I unfortunately learned this weekend when I was skating with my homies. If you see someone that's sitting in your direction, don't try a trick that you're not comfortable with. Let me explain. I was skating with my homies this weekend, and there was this lady. I'm low-key still traumatized. There was this lady who was sitting at like the edge of our skate park, just like I guess at a sitting area. She had her head down in her hands, so she didn't see anything. She was, I guess, I don't know what she was doing, meditating or something. And I was trying a trick. I was trying like a front crook down on this rail, and I didn't lock in right, slipped out. My board goes launching straight towards her. I didn't have enough time to go run and grab it, and ends up knocking her in the head, and she ends up like bleeding. It was really bad, and I'm low-key still traumatized. So my overall tip here is just to be mindful of who's in your direction. You know, especially if, like, let's say you're trying a trick down a stair set. If you're lucky enough to have like a stair set at your skate park and there's someone in front of the stair set, obviously wait for them to pass. But it can get tricky, especially if you're trying those grinds. You know, if you slip out, your board goes shooting out, you know, what do you do? Just something to keep in mind. And honestly, I think I'm just gonna cap it there. I'll keep it with 4. Typically like to go for 5, but I think 4 is a good number for today. So hopefully you guys learned something, and peace.